Marcus's hand shook as he gripped the wheels of his chair, staring at the small black girl standing in his doorway at midnight.
Mister, I'm hungry. Got any leftovers?
He should have said no, should have closed the door. But something about her eyes, those bright, fearless eyes, made him pause.
If I give you food, what will you give me?
I'll make you walk again.
Marcus laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. He hadn't walked in 18 years. Dozens of doctors, millions of dollars, all useless. But this 6-year-old child, shivering in torn sneakers, standing on his doorstep like she held the secrets of the universe? She was serious. "You're crazy, little girl," Marcus whispered. "Maybe," she replied, "but you're the one in that chair, and I'm the one still standing." That's when Marcus realized this wasn't just about walking. This was about something he'd lost long before the accident took his legs. His humanity. But how did a broken man and a hungry child end up changing each other's lives forever? Let me take you back to where it all began, and trust me, this story will shake you to your core. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you do not want to miss what happens next. Marcus Thompson sat alone in his massive Chicago penthouse on a bitter December night, staring through floor-to-ceiling windows at the snow blanketing the city below. At 52 years old, he was one of the wealthiest black men in America, a self-made tech mogul worth over $300 million. But money couldn't buy him what he wanted most: his legs. 18 years ago, a drunk driver had crashed into Marcus's car on Lakeshore Drive, severing his spine and stealing his ability to walk. Before the accident, Marcus was unstoppable. He'd built his software company from nothing, becoming the first black CEO to take a tech firm public in Illinois. Everyone wanted to be near him back then. But after the accident, Marcus watched his world crumble. Business partners slowly backed away. Friends stopped calling. His wife, Nicole, beautiful, ambitious Nicole, stayed for exactly 3 years before filing for divorce. "I can't do this anymore, Marcus," she said, her voice cold as winter. "You're not the man I married. You're just angry all the time." She wasn't wrong. Marcus had become bitter, pushing away everyone who tried to help. His younger sister, Kakisha, barely visited anymore. He'd sit in his penthouse day after day, surrounded by luxury, drowning in loneliness. Tonight felt particularly heavy. A sharp knock echoed through the penthouse. Marcus frowned. It was past midnight. His building had top security. No one could get up here without clearance. The knock came again, softer this time, almost pleading. When Marcus opened the door, he found himself staring at a little black girl, maybe 6 years old, with hair pulled into uneven ponytails and a coat so thin he could see her shivering. "Mister," she said, looking up at him without fear, "I'm hungry. Got any leftovers you don't want?" Marcus was struck silent. Her skin was smooth and dark, her eyes bright with intelligence despite the exhaustion pulling at her small face. Snowflakes melted in her hair. "How did you get up here?" Marcus finally managed. "The side door was open. The nice security man was sleeping, so I just walked past him. I live across the street with my mama, but she works real late, and our neighbor Miss Betty said rich people always throw away good food, so I thought maybe you had some." Marcus should have been angry, should have called security, but something about her honesty disarmed him. "What's your name?" he asked. "Destiny. Destiny Williams," she smiled, and Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. Marcus looked past her, toward the rundown apartment building across the street. In 18 years of living here, he'd never once noticed the people in those buildings. "Come inside," Marcus said. "You'll freeze out there." Destiny's eyes went wide as she stepped into the penthouse. Marcus rolled into the kitchen and pulled out containers of food: grilled salmon, roasted vegetables, fresh bread. He plated everything and handed it to Destiny. Instead of eating right away, she looked up at him. "Can I help you, mister?" Marcus almost smiled. "Help me? You're the one who came asking for food, little girl." "I know," Destiny said seriously, "but my mama says when someone helps you, You gotta help them back. That's how the world works." She paused, studying his wheelchair. "Your legs don't work?" "No," Marcus said quietly. "They don't." "How long?" 18 years. Destiny set down her plate and walked closer. "That's real sad, but I can fix it." Marcus felt anger flash through him. "Little girl, I've seen the best doctors in the world. I spent millions trying to walk again. What makes you think?" "Because I believe," Destiny interrupted. "My mama says believing is the first part of any miracle. If you believe hard enough and you're good to people, miracles find you." Marcus stared at this child who spoke like she understood secrets the whole medical world had missed. "You really think you can make me walk?" he asked. "I don't think. I know." Destiny stepped closer. "Can I touch your knee?" Every rational part of Marcus screamed that this was ridiculous, but something deeper whispered, "What if?" "Go ahead," he said softly. Destiny placed her small hand on his knee. Her palm was warm despite the cold night. Marcus felt something. Not movement, but a warmth spreading through his chest, melting the ice he'd built around his heart. "See?" Destiny said, smiling up at him. "The miracle already started." "I don't feel anything in my legs," Marcus replied. "That's 'cause the miracle isn't in your legs yet, mister. It's in your heart. Once your heart remembers how to feel, your legs will remember to walk." Marcus sat speechless. Between bites of food, Destiny asked him questions. What he did, was he lonely, did he have kids? Marcus found himself answering honestly for the first time in years. He told her about his company, about the accident, about Nicole leaving, about Kakisha visiting less because he kept pushing her away. "That's sad, but it's not too late, you know. You can still fix it." She handed him a crumpled flower from her coat pocket, a dandelion, half crushed but still bright yellow. "This is for you, for the food." Marcus took the flower, feeling emotion well up in his throat. When was the last time someone had given him a gift? "Thank you, Destiny," he whispered. She stood to leave. "I'll come back tomorrow to check on your heart. Once it's ready, we'll work on your legs." "Destiny?" Marcus called out. She turned. "Be careful going home, and thank you for the flower." She beamed at him, and Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in 18 years. Hope. After she left, Marcus sat holding that crushed dandelion for hours. He didn't believe in miracles, but he believed in that little girl's eyes. And maybe that was enough. The next morning, Marcus woke up different. The darkness that usually pressed down on him felt lighter. His housekeeper, Patricia, arrived at 9 a.m. Patricia was a stern, 55-year-old woman who'd worked for Marcus for 12 years. "Patricia, something happened last night," Marcus said. "A little girl from across the street came by asking for food." Patricia's face hardened. "A little girl? What little girl?" "Her name is Destiny Williams. She was hungry, so I gave her some food. She's special, Patricia." "Special?" Patricia's voice dripped with suspicion. "Mr. Thompson, you let a random child from that building into your home? Do you know what kind of people live over there?" Marcus felt his jaw tighten. "What kind of people, Patricia?" "Poor people. Desperate people," Patricia said. "You're a wealthy man. You need to be careful. These people see what you have and they want it. That little girl probably went home and told her mother all about your penthouse." "She's 6 years old," Marcus said coldly. Before Patricia could respond, there was a knock at the door. Marcus opened it to find a woman in her early 30s, beautiful despite the exhaustion etched into her face, wearing a worn coat over hospital scrubs. Her eyes blazed with protective fury. "Are you Marcus Thompson?" she demanded. "Yes. I'm Sharon Williams, Destiny's mother." She crossed her arms. "And we need to talk, now." Marcus opened the door wider. Sharon stepped inside, scanning the luxury with suspicion. Patricia appeared from the kitchen, her face tight with disapproval. "Mr. Thompson, should I call security?" "No," Marcus said firmly. "Miss Williams is a guest." Sharon turned on Marcus. "What kind of man lets a 6-year-old child into his home at midnight? Do you know what kind of danger that is? Do you know what I thought when Destiny told me she'd been here?" Marcus saw fear beneath her anger. Real, bone-deep terror. Miss Williams, I understand your concern. Do you? Do you understand what it's like to be a black mother in this world, knowing that my daughter could disappear and nobody would care? Do you understand that I work 3 jobs to keep her safe, and the one night I'm late coming home, she ends up in a stranger's penthouse? You're right, Marcus said quietly. I should have brought her home immediately. I'm sorry. Sharon seemed thrown by his apology. Destiny said you gave her food. She was hungry. And she said something about making you walk again? Marcus nodded. She put her hand on my knee, said she could perform a miracle. I don't believe in miracles, Miss Williams, but your daughter has something special. A light. Sharon's expression shifted. Mr. Thompson, I appreciate that you fed my daughter, but I need you to understand something. Destiny and I don't have much. We live in a tiny apartment, and I work myself to exhaustion just to keep food on the table. When she talks about miracles, it's because that's what I taught her, to believe in good things even when the world is cruel. That's beautiful, Marcus said. It's survival, Sharon corrected. But it also makes her vulnerable. She trusts too easily. And when she walked into your home, all I could think about was every story I've ever heard about black children who disappeared. She stopped, tears filling her eyes. Marcus felt his heart break. Miss Williams, I would never hurt Destiny, I promise you that. How do I know that? Sharon demanded. From the kitchen, Patricia made a disgusted sound. Sharon's head snapped toward her. You got something to say? Sharon called out. Patricia emerged. I think you should leave, Miss Williams. I don't remember asking you, Sharon shot back. Patricia, go home. Take the day off, Marcus said sharply. Patricia looked shocked but grabbed her coat and left, slamming the door. Mrs. Williams, Marcus said when they were alone, I know what you think of people like me. You don't need to hide it. But I beg you, if you truly love your son, look at his happiness. The happiness that my daughter and I are striving to bring. Sharon studied his face. Why do you care? You don't know us. Because last night your daughter gave me something I haven't had in 18 years. Hope. She looked at me and didn't see a crippled, bitter man. She just saw me. Silence filled the room. Destiny wants to come back, Sharon said finally. I'd like that, Marcus said immediately. But I need rules, Sharon said firmly. I need to know where she is, how long she's staying, and I need to be able to come here any time. Can you agree to that? Absolutely. Sharon nodded slowly. Okay, but Mr. Thompson, if you ever give me reason to doubt you, I will make your life hell. Understood? Understood, Marcus said. As Sharon left, Marcus felt something shift. A wall dividing these strangers began to crack. That evening, Destiny returned with Sharon's permission. She burst in carrying a small bag. Okay, Mr. Marcus, today we start your real treatment. My real treatment? Marcus raised an eyebrow. Destiny pulled out a notebook covered in crayon drawings. I made a plan. First, we wake up your heart. Second, we wake up your legs. Third, you jump for joy. Marcus felt emotion tighten his throat. And how do we wake up my heart? By making you remember happy things, Destiny said. Tell me a happy memory from before the accident. Marcus thought for a long moment. I remember when I was 8 years old, my father taught me how to ride a bike. He held the back of my seat and ran alongside me. I kept falling, wanting to quit, but my dad kept saying, "One more try, son. Champions don't quit." Did you do it? Destiny asked. Yeah, Marcus smiled. I pedaled that bike across the whole parking lot by myself. See? Destiny grinned. Your heart just woke up a little bit. For the next hour, Destiny pulled happy memories from Marcus. His first business success, the day Keisha was born, first kiss, first car. With each memory, Marcus felt lighter. Finally, Destiny placed her hand on his knee again. This time, Marcus could swear he felt something, just the faintest tingle. Did you feel that? Destiny asked. Maybe, Marcus admitted. I'm not sure. It's working. Destiny jumped up and down. It's really working. Over the next week, Destiny came every evening. Sharon always walked her over, staying for a few minutes before heading to her night shift.
Marcus found himself planning his days around Destiny's visits. They'd talk, laugh, remember happy things, and always Destiny would place her hands on his knees. And something was happening. Marcus felt tingles more frequently. Sometimes he'd swear his toes moved. Marcus also grew close to Sharon. On nights when she didn't have to rush off, they'd talk over coffee. She told him about her struggles, her dreams for Destiny. Marcus told him about his loneliness, his regrets. They understood each other. But not everyone was happy about this friendship. What Marcus didn't know was that Patricia wasn't done causing trouble. In fact, she was about to do something that would threaten to destroy everything Marcus, Sharon, and Destiny were building together.
Marcus sat in the cold government office, facing a woman with dead eyes in a clipboard full of accusations. "Mr. Thompson," the caseworker said, her voice flat, "we have reason to believe Sharon Williams is exploiting your vulnerability for financial gain. Has she asked you for money?" "No," Marcus said firmly. "Has her daughter been left alone with you unsupervised?" "Her daughter's name is Destiny, and yes, Sharon trusts me." The woman made a note, her pen scratching like nails on a chalkboard. "And you don't find it suspicious that a woman you barely know is allowing her 6-year-old daughter to spend hours alone with a wealthy, disabled man?" Marcus felt rage boil in his chest. "The only thing suspicious here is how quickly you're assuming the worst about a hardworking mother and an innocent child." The woman looked up, her eyes cold. "Mr. Thompson, we're trying to protect you." "From what? From being happy for the first time in 18 years? The caseworker closed her folder. "In my 15 years doing this job, I've seen every scam imaginable, and this situation has all the hallmarks of exploitation." Marcus realized how broken the system was, how it was designed to distrust people like Sharon. And he decided right then that he would fight. "You want to investigate me?" Marcus said, his voice dangerous. "Go ahead. Look at my bank accounts. You won't find a single penny going to Sharon Williams. You know why? Because she's too proud to take anything from me." The caseworker stared at him. "We'll see, Mr. Thompson." But what she didn't know was that Marcus Thompson wasn't the helpless victim they thought he was. He was a fighter who'd built an empire from nothing. And now he was about to unleash every resource he had to protect the family that had saved him. The investigation began immediately. Over the next week, Marcus's life became a circus of intrusive questions and surprise visits. Social workers showed up unannounced to inspect his penthouse. They interviewed Patricia, who eagerly painted Sharon as a manipulative con artist. They questioned his doctors about his mental state. But worst of all, they went after Sharon. She called Marcus 3 days into the investigation, her voice shaking. "They came to my work. They pulled me aside in front of my coworkers and questioned me like I was a criminal." Marcus's heart broke. "Sharon, I'm so sorry. They talked to Destiny's school. They interviewed her teacher, asking if Destiny showed signs of being coached to lie. Do you know what that does to a child? Where's Destiny now? Home. She won't stop crying. She keeps asking why people think we're bad." Sharon's voice cracked. "Marcus, I can't do this anymore." "Don't give up," Marcus pleaded. "I'm getting a lawyer. We're going to fight this." "With what? I can't afford a lawyer. And even if I could, who would believe us?" "Sharon, I need you to trust me. Can you do that?" Silence. "Can you trust me?" Marcus repeated. "Yes," Sharon whispered. "Yes, I trust you." "Good, because I'm about to do something crazy." The next morning, Marcus called his sister Keisha for the first time in 6 months. "Marcus, is everything okay?" "No," he said, "but it's going to be. I need your help." He told her everything, about Destiny, about Sharon, about the investigation. Keisha started laughing. "Are you seriously telling me that my bitter, antisocial brother has been secretly healing through the power of a 6-year-old's faith? When you put it that way, it sounds ridiculous," Marcus admitted. "It is ridiculous. It's also the most beautiful thing I've heard in years." Keisha's voice grew serious. If this little girl and her mother did that, I'll fight hell itself to protect them. Marcus felt tears sting his eyes. Thank you, Keisha. What exactly did you have in mind? I'm going to hold a press conference. Marcus, that could backfire. The media could tear you apart. I know, Marcus said, but I've spent 18 years hiding from the world. I'm done hiding. 3 days later, Marcus sat in front of a room full of reporters, cameras, and curious onlookers. Sharon and Destiny sat beside him, terrified but determined. Keisha stood in the back, ready to support. Marcus adjusted the microphone and began. My name is Marcus Thompson. 18 years ago, I lost the ability to walk. But 3 weeks ago, I lost something much more important: my humanity. I'd become bitter, isolated, angry. I pushed away everyone who loved me. The room was silent. Then a 6-year-old girl knocked on my door at midnight, asking for food. Her name is Destiny Williams. This little girl looked at me and said, I can make you walk again. Marcus smiled at Destiny. I laughed at her. I'd seen the best doctors in the world. What could a child possibly do? But Destiny didn't give up. She came back day after day, placing her hands on my legs, making me remember what it felt like to be human. And something miraculous did happen. He paused. I started to feel again. Not just physically, though that's been happening too, but emotionally. For the first time in 18 years, I felt hope, joy, connection. Because of Destiny and her mother Sharon, I remembered what it means to be alive. A reporter raised her hand. Mr. Thompson, there are allegations that Ms. Williams is exploiting you for financial gain. How do you respond? Marcus's voice turned cold. Sharon works 3 jobs to support her daughter. She has never asked me for money, never requested help, never hinted at wanting anything except friendship. The fact that people assume the worst about her says more about their prejudices than her character. Another reporter jumped in. But isn't it true that you've given gifts to Destiny? Yes, Marcus said firmly. I bought her books because she loves to read. I bought her a winter coat because hers was full of holes. If that makes me guilty, then charge me. But last I checked, giving gifts to a child you care about was called kindness, not crime. Mr. Thompson, a third reporter asked, you mentioned physical sensations returning. Can you provide medical evidence? Dr. Raymond Foster, my neurologist, is here today. An older black man in a white coat stood. I've treated Marcus Thompson since his initial injury. His spinal cord damage was classified as complete and permanent. For 18 years, he had 0 motor function below the waist.
The room erupted in murmurs. I cannot explain this medically, Dr. Foster continued, but something is happening. Whether you call it a miracle or unexplained phenomenon, Marcus Thompson is showing signs of neurological healing. A reporter shouted, Are you saying a 6-year-old girl healed him? Dr. Foster smiled. I'm saying that hope, faith, and human connection have healing properties we don't fully understand. Marcus spoke again. I want to address why we're having this press conference. Adult Protective Services is investigating Sharon Williams, accusing her of exploiting me. They've harassed her at work, questioned her daughter at school, and treated her like a criminal, all because she dared to befriend a lonely man. Sharon squeezed his hand, tears streaming. We live in a world that's quick to judge, especially about poor people, especially about black women trying to survive. Marcus continued. Sharon could have walked past my building every night and never looked up, but instead she raised a child who believes in miracles, who sees humanity in everyone. He looked directly into the cameras. So let me be clear, Sharon Williams is not exploiting me. She's saving me. Her daughter is not a con artist. She's a miracle. And if Adult Protective Services wants to investigate anyone, they should investigate a system so broken it can't recognize genuine kindness. The room exploded with questions. The press conference went viral within hours. Hashtag Miracle of Destiny trended on Twitter. Thousands shared stories of being judged because of their race or economic status. Donations poured in for Sharon and Destiny. But not everyone was happy. Patricia gave her own interview to a tabloid. "I worked for Marcus Thompson for 12 years. He was vulnerable, lonely, desperate. Sharon Williams saw an easy target. This whole miracle nonsense is just a cover for financial exploitation." The tabloid ran with the headline, "Housekeeper's Warning, Marcus's miracle is a mirage." Patricia's interview intensified the investigation. A week after the press conference, Marcus received a call from the lead investigator, Jennifer Mason. "Mr. Thompson, we need to conduct a full financial audit. We need to see every transaction since meeting Miss Williams." "Fine," Marcus said, "audit away. We'll also need to interview you and Miss Williams separately, under oath, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Marcus hung up and called Sharon. "They're not giving up. They want to interview us tomorrow." Sharon's voice was small. "Marcus, maybe I should just disappear from your life, take Destiny and move away." "No," Marcus said fiercely, "that's exactly what they want. We're going to face this together." "But what if they take Destiny?" "They won't," Marcus promised. "I won't let them." That night, around 2 a.m., his phone rang. "Keisha." "Marcus, turn on Channel 7, now." Marcus grabbed his remote. His heart stopped. On screen was Nicole, his ex-wife. She looked the same, still beautiful in that cold, polished way. "I was married to Marcus for 8 years. After his accident, he became angry, paranoid, pushing away everyone. When I heard about this situation, my first thought was, Marcus is being taken advantage of, again." "Again?" the reporter prompted. "Marcus has always been vulnerable to people who tell him what he wants to hear. After the accident, he spent hundreds of thousands on fake healers, anyone who promised he'd walk again. He was so desperate that he couldn't see when people were lying." Marcus felt sick. "So you think the miracle is fake?" the reporter asked. Nicole's smile was pitying. "I think Marcus wants so badly to believe that he's convinced himself something is happening. And I think the Williams family knows exactly how to play into that desperation. It's heartbreaking." The segment ended. Keisha's voice came through the phone. "Marcus, I'm so sorry." "She's painting me as mentally unstable," Marcus said quietly. "So when the investigation concludes, people will think I was too damaged to see the truth. We need to respond." "No," Marcus said. "Tomorrow at the interview, we tell the truth and we let the truth stand." The interview room was cold and sterile. Marcus sat facing Jennifer Mason and another investigator, Robert Harris. They'd already interviewed Sharon separately. "Mr. Thompson, when did you first meet Sharon Williams?" "December 18th. Her daughter Destiny knocked on my door asking for food." "And you let a strange child into your home?" "I fed a hungry child," Marcus corrected. Robert leaned forward. "Why do you think Sharon allowed her 6-year-old to visit you alone?" "Because she's a good judge of character. Because she saw I was lonely and harmless. Or because she saw an opportunity. A wealthy, disabled man, isolated, vulnerable." "Stop right there," Marcus interrupted. "You're trying to paint Sharon as a predator, but I see a woman who works 3 jobs, someone who's never asked me for a penny. I see a mother who's raised an extraordinary daughter despite a world stacked against them." Jennifer made notes. "You've made several purchases recently, gifts, totaling nearly $1,500 for Destiny. So? So it establishes a pattern of giving that often escalates." Marcus laughed bitterly. $1,500? I spent more than that on dinner last month. I gave Destiny things she needed because I care about her. That's what decent people do. But you see how it looks. A wealthy man giving expensive gifts to a child he barely knows. I know Destiny better than I've known anyone in 18 years. She sees me, not my disability, not my money, just me." Robert pulled out another document. "Your former housekeeper claims Sharon went through your personal papers, made private phone calls, coached her daughter on what to say." "Patricia lied," Marcus said flatly. "She's bitter about being fired, and she's prejudiced against Sharon. Everything she told you is designed to hurt Sharon." The investigation went on for 2 more hours. They questioned his mental state, his medication, whether he'd felt pressured to defend Sharon publicly. Marcus answered every question calmly, never wavering. Finally, Jennifer closed her folder. "Mr. Thompson, here's what concerns us. You're a vulnerable adult with significant wealth. You formed an intense attachment to a family you barely know. You're making claims about miraculous healing. And you're defending this family with a passion that seems disproportionate." "Disproportionate to what?" Marcus demanded. "To the fact that they gave me a reason to live? You want to talk about disproportionate? How about treating a hardworking mother like a criminal just because she's poor and black?" The room fell silent. "We'll be in touch," Jennifer said finally. Marcus rolled out, exhausted, but unbroken. In the hallway, Sharon waited with Keisha. "How did it go?" Keisha asked. "They think I'm delusional," Marcus said, "but they can't prove Sharon did anything wrong because she didn't." Sharon grabbed his hand. "Marcus, I'm so sorry." "Don't apologize," Marcus said. "This isn't happening because of you. It's happening because the system is broken." That evening, Marcus, Sharon, Destiny, and Keisha sat in the penthouse, emotionally drained. Destiny had been quiet all day. "Mr. Marcus," she said softly, "are people going to take me away from my mama?" Sharon's face crumpled. Marcus rolled closer. "No, sweetheart," he said gently. "I promise that's not going to happen." "But those people said we did bad things." "Those people are wrong," Marcus said. "They don't understand miracles." Destiny looked up. "Do you still believe in the miracle, Mr. Marcus?" Marcus felt emotion tighten his throat. With all the stress, he'd stopped their evening sessions, stopped trying, stopped believing. "Yes," he whispered. "Yes, I still believe." "Then we should try again," Destiny said. "Right now." "Baby, Mr. Marcus is tired," Sharon started. "No," Marcus said. "She's right." Destiny ran to get her notebook. Marcus rolled to the center of the room. "Close your eyes and remember a happy thing," Destiny said, kneeling beside his chair. Marcus thought about his father teaching him to ride a bike, about building his first company, about the night Destiny knocked on his door. "Now," Destiny said softly, placing her hands on his knees, "think about your legs remembering how to walk." Marcus focused. Tonight felt different. With this child's faith cutting through doubt, he felt something shift. A warmth spread from Destiny's hands. Then, Marcus's right foot twitched. "Did you see that?" Keisha gasped. "Marcus, your foot just moved," Sharon whispered. Destiny's eyes went wide. "It's working. Try again." Marcus concentrated. His foot moved again. Not just a twitch, a deliberate movement. Then his toes curled. Keisha screamed. Sharon covered her mouth, crying. Destiny jumped up and down and clapping. "Do it again," Destiny shouted. "Try the other foot." Marcus focused on his left foot. Slowly, it moved too. "Oh my God," Marcus said. "Oh my God, it's real." "I told you." Destiny danced around the room. "I told you miracles are real." Not just the walking miracle, all kinds of miracles. For the next hour, they worked together. The movements were small, weak, but they were there. Real, measurable, undeniable. "We need to document this," Marcus said. "Dr. Foster needs to see this." "We'll call him first thing tomorrow," Keisha said, pulling out her phone to record Marcus moving his feet. But tomorrow came with a surprise. At 8 a.m., Marcus's doorbell rang. Jennifer Mason and Robert Harris stood there, with 2 police officers. Marcus's blood ran cold. "What's going on?" Sharon appeared behind him, Destiny clinging to her leg. "Miss Williams, Mr. Thompson," Jennifer said, her voice softer than before, "we've completed our investigation. We need to speak with you immediately." Sharon held Destiny tighter, preparing for the worst. "We've reached a conclusion." She paused, and Marcus saw something unexpected in her eyes. Regret. "Miss Williams, Mr. Thompson, I owe you both an apology. After thorough investigation, we found absolutely no evidence of exploitation, manipulation, or wrongdoing. Mr. Thompson's financials are completely intact. Every gift was freely given. Every witness, except the dismissed housekeeper, confirmed that your relationship is genuine."
Sharon's legs went weak. Keisha caught her. "Furthermore," Robert added, "we spoke with Dr. Foster yesterday. He provided documentation showing measurable improvement in Mr. Thompson's condition. While we can't explain it medically, we can confirm that something real is happening." Jennifer looked directly at Sharon. "Miss Williams, I was wrong about you. I let my experiences cloud my judgment. I saw what I expected instead of what was actually there. I'm sorry." "The case is officially closed," Jennifer said. "You're free to continue your friendship without restrictions." After they left, the 4 of them stood in silence. Then Destiny spoke, her voice small but clear. "See, I told you miracles are real, not just the walking miracle, all kinds of miracles." Marcus looked at this extraordinary child and realized she was right. The real miracle wasn't his feet moving. It was love winning over prejudice. It was truth standing against lies. It was a system that, for once, got it right. The investigation is over, but Marcus and Destiny's story is far from finished. What happens next will test everything they've built and prove whether Marcus can complete the miracle Destiny started.
Marcus stood in the hospital hallway, gripping a walker, his legs trembling beneath him. 20 feet away, at the end of the corridor, Destiny waited with her mother, her eyes shining with faith and hope. "You can do it, Mr. Marcus," Destiny called out. "I know you can." Dr. Foster stood beside Marcus, clipboard in hand, witnessing what could only be an impossible act. Behind them, news cameras recorded everything. The whole world was watching. Marcus took a breath. One step. That's all he needed to start. But his legs felt like they belonged to someone else. 18 years of paralysis didn't just go away because a little girl believed in miracles. "I can't," Marcus whispered. "Yes, you can," Destiny insisted, walking toward him. Sharon tried to hold her back, but Destiny pulled free, stopping right in front of Marcus. She placed her small hand over his heart. "The miracle was never about your legs, Mr. Marcus. It was about your heart. Once your heart remembers how to fight, your legs will follow." Marcus looked into her eyes and saw himself reflected back, not as a disabled man or a victim or someone to be pitied. He saw a champion, and champions don't quit. After the investigation closed, life should have returned to normal, but normal no longer existed for Marcus, Sharon, and Destiny. The media frenzy continued. Reporters camped outside Marcus's building. Television networks wanted exclusive interviews. Book publishers offered six-figure deals. But more importantly, Marcus's health was changing rapidly. Dr. Foster called him in for extensive testing 2 days after the investigation ended. Marcus arrived with Sharon and Destiny, all of them nervous. The process took 4 hours. MRIs, nerve conduction studies, reflex tests, strength assessments. Finally, Dr. Foster sat them down in his office, his face unreadable. "Marcus," he began slowly, "I've been a neurologist for 42 years. I've seen thousands of spinal cord injury patients, and I've never seen anything like this." "What are you saying?" Marcus asked, his heart pounding. Dr. Foster pulled up MRI images on his computer. "Your spinal cord is regenerating. The scar tissue that's been blocking your nerve signals for 18 years is breaking down. New neural pathways are forming. Your muscles are showing signs of rebuilding." Sharon gripped Marcus's hand. "How is that possible?" Keisha asked. "Medically, it shouldn't be," Dr. Foster admitted, "but clearly something is happening." He looked at Destiny, who sat humming softly. "Whatever this child has brought into your life, whether it's hope, purpose, or something else, it's having a measurable physical effect." "So what happens now?" Marcus asked. Dr. Foster's expression grew serious. "Now comes the hard part. You have potential for recovery, Marcus. Real recovery. But it won't happen magically. You'll need intensive physical therapy, probably surgery to remove remaining scar tissue, months of rehabilitation. It's going to be painful, exhausting, and there's no guarantee you'll walk again." "But there's a chance," Marcus whispered. "There's a chance." Marcus looked at Destiny. "What do you think? Should I try?" Destiny stopped humming. "Mr. Marcus, you already are trying. Every day you wake up and choose to believe, that's trying. The walking part is just the last step." Dr. Foster smiled. "You've got quite the philosopher here." "She's more than that," Marcus said softly. "She's my miracle." The physical therapy began immediately. Dr. Foster referred Marcus to the best rehabilitation center in Chicago, New Horizons. The head therapist was Tracy Rodriguez, a no-nonsense former Olympic trainer who'd worked with paralyzed athletes. "Mr. Thompson, I'm going to be honest. This is going to hurt. You're going to want to quit. You're going to cry, scream, maybe even hate me. But if you commit, really commit, I think we can get you walking." "I'm ready," Marcus said. He wasn't ready. The first week was torture. Tracy had him doing exercises that seemed impossible, trying to flex muscles that haven't worked in 18 years, pushing through pain that made him nauseous. Several times, Marcus broke down crying from frustration. "I can't do this," he sobbed during a brutal session. Tracy didn't coddle him. "You're right, you can't do it, not with that attitude. So either change your attitude or go home." That night, Marcus called Sharon, defeated. "Maybe this is as good as it gets. Maybe I should accept I'll always be in this chair." Before Sharon could respond, he heard Destiny's voice come in. "Let me talk to him, Mama." "Mr. Marcus?" Destiny's voice came through. "Hey, sweetheart. Are you giving up?" Marcus hesitated. "I'm tired, Destiny. It hurts so much." "I know," Destiny said gently. "But remember what you told me about your daddy? About falling off the bike?" "Yeah." "What did your daddy say?" Marcus closed his eyes, hearing his father's voice. He said, "Champions don't quit." "So don't quit, Destiny. Champions don't quit." After that conversation, something shifted in Marcus. The pain didn't decrease, but his tolerance increased. He stopped thinking about impossibility and started focusing on small victories, moving his toe an extra inch, holding a standing position for 5 more seconds, completing 1 more rep. Tracy noticed immediately. "What happened to you, Thompson?" "I remembered how to be a champion," Marcus replied. Destiny and Sharon visited every day. The little girl would sit beside him during exercises, counting reps, cheering him on, placing her hands on his legs. "Today I saw a flower growing through a crack in the sidewalk," Destiny said one afternoon. "Mama said that's impossible, but I told her miracles don't care about impossible." Marcus laughed, which made his muscles ache, but he didn't care. Weeks turned into a month. Marcus graduated from basic exercises to complex movements. He could flex both feet, could feel sensations down to his toes, could tense his thigh muscles on command. Then came the day Tracy brought out the parallel bars. "Today we try standing," Tracy announced. Marcus's heart raced. He hadn't stood on his own in 18 years. With Tracy spotting him, Marcus gripped the parallel bars and pushed himself up from the wheelchair. His legs shook violently. Every muscle screamed, but slowly, agonizingly, he rose. And then he was standing. Tears streamed down his face. The therapists cheered. Across the room, other patients applauded. Marcus stood for 15 seconds before his legs gave out and he collapsed back into the chair. But those 15 seconds changed everything. Marcus was standing again, but the hardest test was still ahead: walking. And when the world found out what he was attempting, not everyone was supportive. What happens next is going to shock you. News of Marcus's progress leaked to the media. Within days, he was at the center of another storm. But this time, the coverage was different, more skeptical, more hostile. Several news outlets published pieces questioning whether Marcus's recovery was real or staged. Medical experts who'd never examined Marcus gave TV interviews insisting his recovery was impossible, implying he never been truly paralyzed. And then Nicole struck again. She appeared on a major morning show, looking concerned and compassionate. I think we all want miracles to be real, but as someone who lived with Marcus for years, who saw his actual medical records? I have serious doubts. For him to suddenly be recovering now, it's suspicious. Are you suggesting he's faking? The host asked. I'm suggesting that desperation makes people do strange things. And I'm worried Marcus is so invested in this narrative that he's convinced himself something is happening that isn't. The interview went viral. Hashtag #MarcusFaker began trending on Twitter. Disability rights advocates argued both sides. The attacks hurt Marcus, but they devastated Sharon. They're calling us con artists again, Sharon cried one evening.
They're saying we staged this whole thing. Stop reading the comments, Marcus said firmly. None of those people know the truth. Only we do. But the harassment escalated. Someone called Sharon's employers, claiming she was scamming people. She was pulled into a meeting and grilled about her relationship with Marcus. Worse, people started showing up at Destiny's school, trying to photograph her, shouting questions at a 6-year-old. Sharon pulled Destiny out of school for safety. This has to stop, Sharon told Marcus one night. We need to go away. Let this blow over. No, Marcus said firmly. That's exactly what they want. We're going to face this head on. How? Marcus took her hand. I'm going to walk. In public. In front of cameras. I'm going to prove this miracle is real. Dr. Foster arranged for Marcus to attempt his first public walk at the rehabilitation center, with medical professionals present to document everything. The date was set for 2 weeks away. Marcus would use a walker to traverse a 20-foot hallway. If he succeeded, it would be captured on video, with doctors confirming the validity. Those 2 weeks were the hardest of Marcus's life. He trained relentlessly, pushing beyond what Tracy thought was safe. His legs were covered in bruises from falls. He pulled muscles, twisted ankles, collapsed dozens of times. But he kept going. Destiny came every day, sitting beside him, her hands on his legs, her voice encouraging. Remember the flower in the sidewalk? That's you, growing through impossible. 3 days before the scheduled walk, Marcus received an unexpected visitor. Patricia appeared at the rehabilitation center, looking older and more fragile than he remembered. Mr. Thompson, she said quietly, may I speak with you? Marcus considered refusing. What do you want, Patricia? She sat down heavily, her hands shaking. I came to apologize and to confess something. Marcus waited. I was wrong about Sharon. I was wrong about Destiny. I let my fears and prejudices poison me, and I almost destroyed something beautiful. She paused. I've been watching the news, and I realized I started all of this. The investigation, the harassment, all of it. Yes, Marcus said coldly. You did. I'm dying, Mr. Thompson. I have cancer, stage 4, maybe 3 months left. Marcus felt his anger deflate. I'm sorry. Don't be. I deserve this. Patricia looked at her hands. But before I die, I need to make this right. I'm going to give a public statement, telling the truth, that I lied about Sharon, out of prejudice, that everything I said was motivated by bigotry, not fact. Marcus studied her face. Why now? Because I don't want to die knowing I destroyed something good. Because watching that little girl's faith made me realize what I lost. The ability to believe in anything pure. Patricia wiped her eyes. Will you forgive me? Marcus thought about Destiny's words. Forgiveness is just making room for new miracles. Yes, Marcus said quietly. I forgive you. Patricia broke down sobbing. Thank you! Thank you! 2 days later, Patricia held a press conference. Looking frail but determined, she told the world the truth. I lied about Sharon Williams, Patricia said into the microphones. I accused her of exploitation, of manipulation. None of it was true.
I was motivated by prejudice, racial prejudice, class prejudice, and jealousy that someone else had reached Marcus when I couldn't. The reporters erupted with questions, but Patricia held up her hand. I'm dying. I have nothing to gain except the hope that I can die with a clear conscience. Sharon Williams is a good mother. Destiny is a remarkable child. Marcus Thompson's recovery is real. I've seen the medical reports. This is not a scam. It's a miracle. And I almost destroyed it because I couldn't see past my own biases. She looked into the camera. To Sharon, to Destiny, and to Marcus, I am deeply sorry. I hope someday you can forgive a foolish old woman who let fear turn her into something ugly. The press conference changed public opinion overnight. Hashtag I Stand With Marcus began trending. Apology videos flooded social media. But Marcus barely noticed. He was focused on one thing: the walk. The day arrived. The rehabilitation center's main hallway was packed. Dr. Foster and the medical team stood with equipment. Tracy and the therapists formed a safety net. Kenesha was standing nearby, phone ready. News cameras lined both sides. And at the far end, Sharon and Destiny waited. Marcus sat in his wheelchair at the starting point, staring down that 20-foot stretch that suddenly looked like 20 miles. His hands shook as he gripped the walker Tracy positioned in front of him. You ready, Thompson? Tracy asked. What if I can't do it? What if I fall? Then you fall, Tracy said simply. But you'll get back up. That's what champions do. Marcus looked down the hallway at Destiny. You can do it, Mr. Marcus! Destiny shouted. Dr. Foster leaned close. Marcus, there's no pressure. Even if you take one step, that's a victory. No, Marcus said firmly. I'm walking. All the way. He pushed himself up from the wheelchair, gripping the walker. His legs trembled as they took his full weight. The room fell silent. Marcus lifted his right foot and moved it forward. One step. The effort was enormous, but his foot came down solid. The crowd gasped. Marcus shifted his weight and lifted his left foot. 2 steps. That's it. Nice and steady, Tracy encouraged. Marcus kept going. Each step was a battle. Sweat poured down his face. His legs threatened to buckle. But he didn't stop. 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. Halfway there, Marcus paused, breathing hard. His vision blurred. Every muscle was on fire. I can't, he whispered.
Destiny broke free from Sharon and ran to him. Before anyone could stop her, she was standing in front of Marcus. Yes, you can, she said, placing her hand over his heart. The miracle was never about your legs, Mr. Marcus. It was about your heart. Once your heart remembers how to fight, your legs will follow. Marcus looked into her eyes and saw himself reflected back, a champion. Champions don't quit, he said. Champions don't quit, Destiny repeated, smiling. She stepped back. Marcus gripped the walker tighter and kept moving. 6 steps. 7 steps. 8 steps. The room erupted in cheers, but Marcus barely heard them. All he could see was Destiny and Sharon at the end of the hallway, both crying, both reaching out. 9 steps. 10 steps. His left leg buckled. He stumbled, nearly fell, but Tracy was there. You got this, Tracy whispered. Finish it. 11 steps. 12 steps. Almost there. 13 steps. 14. Destiny was so close, her arms outstretched. 15 steps. 16. Marcus's body was shutting down. Everything hurt, but he could see the finish line. 17 steps. 18. 2 more. Just 2 more. 19 steps. 1 more. Marcus lifted his right foot one final time and stepped forward. 20 steps. He'd done it. The room exploded. Doctors cheered. Therapists cried. Cameras flashed. But Marcus didn't care about any of that. He looked down at Destiny, who threw her arms around his waist, and Sharon, who wrapped both of them in her embrace. "I told you," Destiny said against his chest. "I told you miracles are real." Marcus sank to his own knees supporting his own weight, and held them both. "Thank you. Thank you for saving my life." Dr. Foster approached, crying too hard to use his equipment properly. 18 years, Dr. Foster said, voice thick with emotion. 18 years I've been telling you it was impossible. I'm so glad I was wrong. Marcus had walked. The miracle was complete. But this story isn't over yet. What happened next proved that the real miracle wasn't physical at all. It was something much more powerful. Stay with me for just a few more minutes, because the ending will touch your soul. The video of Marcus's walk went viral within hours, racking up millions of views. The medical community acknowledged what had happened, with Dr. Foster's documentation making it impossible to deny. But the most surprising response came from other paralyzed patients. Hundreds reached out asking if Destiny could help them too. The requests broke Marcus's heart, because he knew there was no formula that could be replicated. What he and Destiny had was connection. 2 weeks after the walk, Marcus sat down with Sharon over coffee. "I want to do something," Marcus said. "Something meaningful with this second chance." "What are you thinking?" Sharon asked. "A foundation for kids like Destiny, for single mothers like you, for anyone who's been written off by society." Marcus leaned forward. "I want to create a place where miracles can happen. Not medical miracles necessarily, but miracles of opportunity, of dignity, of hope." Sharon's eyes filled with tears. "Marcus, that's beautiful." "I want to call it Destiny's Hope Foundation, and I want you to run it with me, as my partner, equal partners." Sharon was speechless. "I've talked to my lawyers," Marcus said. "I'm putting $50 million into the foundation. We'll provide scholarships, housing assistance, job training, daycare, a health clinic, and a playground where Destiny had helped design every piece." The grand opening was packed with skeptical neighborhood residents. Marcus stood at the podium, no longer in a wheelchair, but standing on his own 2 feet, with a cane for support. Beside him stood Sharon, now executive director, and beside her stood Destiny, wearing her favorite yellow dress. "6 months ago," Marcus began, "I was a dead man. I was sitting in my penthouse, isolated, bitter, waiting to die. I had everything money could buy, but nothing that made life worth living." He looked at Destiny and Sharon. "Then a 6-year-old girl knocked on my door and asked for leftovers, and she offered me something in return. A miracle. I laughed at her. I thought she was crazy, but she was right." The crowd listened intently. "The miracle she gave me wasn't just about walking again. The real miracle was learning to see people again, to trust again, to love again, to believe that kindness isn't always hiding an ulterior motive." Marcus paused, emotion tightening his throat. "I learned that from a little girl who had every reason to be bitter, but chose hope instead. I learned it from a single mother who worked herself to exhaustion, but still taught her daughter to believe in miracles." He gestured to the building. "This foundation exists because I learned those lessons. It exists because I believe now that every person deserves a chance at their own miracle. Not a medical miracle necessarily, but a miracle of opportunity, of being seen, being valued, being given tools to succeed." The crowd began to applaud, but Marcus held up his hand. "But I want to be clear, this foundation isn't charity. It's not me being generous to people I pity. It's me paying forward what I was given.
It's me acknowledging that I am not a self-made man. I was lifted up by this family, by this community. So Destiny Hope Foundation is yours. It belongs to this neighborhood, to these families, to everyone who's been told they don't matter. Use it. Build your dreams here. And when you succeed, come back and help the next person. That's how miracles multiply. The crowd erupted in applause. People rushed forward to thank Marcus, to hug Sharon, to high-five Destiny. Marcus watched it all with a full heart. That evening, as the sun set over Chicago, Marcus, Sharon, Destiny, and Keisha sat together on the foundation's rooftop garden. "Mr. Marcus," Destiny said suddenly, "can I ask you something?" "Of course, sweetheart." "Do you think other people can have miracles like yours?" Marcus thought carefully. "I think miracles happen every day, Destiny. They just don't always look like what we expect. Sometimes a miracle is a parent working 3 jobs so their kid can have a better life. Sometimes it's a stranger showing kindness when they don't have to. Sometimes it's finding courage to forgive. Sometimes it's just waking up and choosing hope instead of despair." Destiny nodded seriously. "So miracles aren't magic?" "No," Marcus said softly. "Miracles are love in action. They're faith made visible. They're human beings choosing to see the divine spark in each other and fanning that spark into flame." "That's beautiful," Sharon said, wiping her eyes. "Mama, why are you always crying?" Destiny asked. Sharon laughed. "Because sometimes joy is so big, it has to come out as tears." They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars appear over the city. Finally, Keisha spoke. "Marcus, do you ever regret the accident? If you could go back and prevent it, would you?" Marcus was quiet for a long time. 18 years of pain flashed through his mind, but so did the past 6 months, the joy, the love, the purpose. "No," he said finally, "I wouldn't change it. Because if the accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't have become the man I needed to be to receive this gift. Sometimes we have to be broken before we can be whole." Destiny stood and walked to the edge of the garden, looking out over the neighborhood. "You know what I think?" "What, sweetheart?" Marcus asked. "I think we all need each other for miracles to happen. You needed me to believe. I needed you to try. Mama needed both of us to show her that good people exist. Miss Keisha needed you to be brave. We all needed each other." Sharon, Keisha, and Marcus looked at each other stunned by the wisdom from this 6-year-old. "When did you get so smart?" Sharon asked. Destiny grinned. "I was always smart, Mama. You just had to catch up." They all laughed.
The sound carrying out over the city, a testament to joy that had been hard-won, to love that had conquered prejudice, and to faith that had moved human hearts. The real miracle in this story wasn't Marcus learning to walk again. It was learning to live again. It was Sharon learning to trust again. It was Keisha finding her brother again. It was Patricia learning to let go of prejudice before she died. It was an entire community learning that kindness is stronger than suspicion, that faith is more powerful than fear, and that love, real, unconditional love, can heal wounds that medicine never could. Miracles aren't magic tricks performed by special people. They're ordinary people choosing extraordinary love. They're broken people helping other broken people become whole. They're strangers becoming family because they chose to see past differences and embrace their shared humanity. So the next time you see someone hungry, whether they're hungry for food, for friendship, for faith, or for hope, don't walk past them. Knock on their door. Offer them what you have. And be open to the miracle that might unfold. Because sometimes when you feed someone else's hunger, you end up healing your own.
If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever experienced a miracle? Have you ever been someone else's miracle? Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and remember, you have the power to create miracles every single day. God bless you.